So in my previous section, I tried to explain IP addresses based on the Ethernet adapter that is used on your machine. The next thing I want to make you understand is a host name. So it is not easy for us to remember all the machines with the IP addresses on our network. So the easy way is to address them by a name. So there are two ways in which we can allocate the name to IP address, and then how do we resolve these names with those IP addresses. So here you will understand two things. One set is the command and the second set is a file that we need to know. So I'll first take host space, naming a machine using its host. So while installing Linux, which I'll be covering in a different section, you generally are given an option to give a name to the machine. Okay. So for example, the name to this machine that I am using for this session, I have given as Tony PC. To know the current host name of a machine, you have to give a command called hostname. So when I give hostname, I can easily get my hostname, which is Tony PC here. Now this is an identity which is available on this host, and how to check if a host is alive, we can run a command called ping and the host name. Okay, so I can see that it is giving me some output. Okay, this output confirms that 8 packets were transmitted, you can see here, and 8 received. That means network is working fine. There was 0% packet loss, there was no interruption to the network, and this host could be resolved easily. This host was up using a host name. Same if I have to do with IP address, I have to go and search the IP address and then remember that address. But remembering this name Tony PC is easy. Now how do I resolve these names? Okay, to resolve these names, as I mentioned, there are two ways. One is etc host. Okay, so every Linux machine has a file called /etc/hosts. Okay, if I open this file cat/etc hosts, I can see that 127 is the localhost IP, and I've given a name here Tony PC. So when I resolve Tony PC, it will go and hit the name on this machine. But if I have to make sure that Tony PC is accessible over the network, I need to either give the IP address and the host name and the name on all the machines in the network, or I can use a domain name services, which is called DNS. So I can register my host name either in DNS or in this file of /etc host on all the machines in network. Okay, so if all the etc hosts have this IP address and the name across, so suppose there are 5 machines, okay, and if all 5 machines have same etc host with information of all 5 machines in the etc host, so 1 2 3 4 5, IP name, IP name, IP name, IP name, IP name. Okay, so if all the machines have this specific address available, this file available, all machines can talk to each other. If we do not use this, if we don't have to use this etc host method, now with a set of 5 machines, it is okay, I can manage using etc host. But if we have say 100 machines, say 200 machines in the network, or when we consider our servers hosted in the company, or servers like Google which are hosted over the network, we cannot remember all the IP addresses, and we cannot give this update all the etc hosts of all the machines. So the method there we use is a DNS server. Now what does a DNS server does? I just try to make it simpler. So a DNS server is nothing but domain name service. So it acts as a table of content, or we can say an index page, in which an IP address and a name are registered. Okay, and this tries to, so for example, this is the server. Okay, this server has an IP and a name. So this name and IP are registered here. Okay, and on the clients or on all the rest of the machine, we don't have to give this IP name. We just have to give the IP of this DNS server. Okay, so you call them name servers or DNS servers. Okay, it's pretty common to use any of these terms. So all these machines will have the information of this IP. And where does this IP sits? It is generally found in cat/etc resolve.conf. So in this file, you can go and check the name servers. Now when these name servers are there, you can see the IP address with name servers. Okay, and if it has to find a machine, it will go and hit this name server, and this name server will resolve where a specific machine is sitting right now. Okay, so this is how names are defined for machines on the network. So we heard two commands today in this session. One was the host name, which gives you the host name, and one was ping, to ping the machines using host names. Now we heard about two files. One was /etc host. So if I say cat/etc hosts, this file can be used to provide a name to the IP addresses, but this file has to copy it on all the machines with all the information. Whereas if we have a DNS entry, okay, we can simply ping a machine. For example, if I ping using www.google.com, right? So it will go to some name server, okay, and from that name server, it will resolve the IP address of google.com, and then it will hit the server. This is how networking works with Linux operating system.